welcome one, and welcome all to the showcase. This is the very first episode of this brand new visibility hacking series, and I am so excited to get right on into it. Here on the showcase, we're going to talk about all things Connection Machine. We're going to tap in to the over $50 billion streaming industry. What's working, what's not working, and most importantly, how can we take what's working and translate it into our own businesses? This is for every entrepreneur, visionary leader, coach, consultant, podcast host, inspiring entrepreneur, whatever it is that you do. The showcase is designed to help you build what we like to call your connection machines, the processes and systems in your business that are specifically designed to not only reach out and attract your ideal customers, but at the same time nurturing those who are already inside of your movement. As your customers ascend themselves through your funnels, up through your value ladder, there will be parts where they will inevitably fall off the system. They will fall off the funnel. They will fall off your value ladder. And if you have a connection machine, you will have a place for them to fall. You can reignite them, and you can re-engage them, and you can get them back up through those funnels, prepare them so that when they are ready to purchase your product, your service, your offer, purchase membership into your movement, they pre-qualify themselves. That means you don't have to rack your brain. You don't have to have those sweaty palms before sales calls. You don't have to feel like you're a slimy salesperson, because your customers will pre-qualify themselves so that when they're ready to make that purchase, they come and knock on your door. You don't have to waste any more time on sales calls that aren't going to go in the right direction. You don't need to spend any more time trying to convince someone that you are the best solution for them. Because instead, when you build your connection machine, when you have your stage, your platform built, you get to pick the narrative. You get to pick what's being taught. You get to build those aha moments for your people. And once they've had the realization that you are the best solution for their problems, then they know exactly what it's like to work with you already. They know exactly the lingo and the way of thinking and the way it is to work within your movement. And they're ready when they come knocking. And that's why I love the power of live shows. Whether we're creating short form video, whether we're creating longer video, whether we're creating a video full of different segments, whether our video happens once as a standalone or it's part of a recurring series, having this type of content enables our potential viewers to see the way that we work. And then it's kind of like becoming someone's best friend. You position yourself not only as the expert and the authority, but also as the trusted advisor and best friend. That way, your influence on your potential customers' behavior increases exponentially to your advantage, while also at the advantage of your customers as well, because ultimately they are ending up with better results in the end. And it all comes down to the way that we connect to our people. And I love talking about live shows. So today I'm going to share with you 3 different business owners who are running live shows and how they are using this fantastic platform to be able to not only connect to their ideal customers, but to also nurture them. This is just going to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to bring about in this new show, The Showcase. You'll see us every week. We'll be here every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern live. And of course, you can always join us on the replay. Our videos will be available not only in our Visibility Hackers Facebook group, but also on our YouTube channel. So before we dive into these examples I want to share with you for today, let's talk about the overall framework that we follow in order to create live content that's really going to grab people's attention and position us as the go-to experts. We want our shows to lead to conversion, moving our people from a state of indecision to a state of decision, meaning they go from a place of not yet knowing or not yet believing or not yet living that you are the exact right solution for their problems, moving them from that state of indecision to knowing that they have purchased the right solution for them. So let's get into the framework. The framework is 6 very simple steps. So step number 1 is to calibrate and formulate and create a plan to serve value. If we start from a place of understanding that value comes first, we will ultimately be serving our people at the highest level possible. If instead we go in and think that our reason and our rationale for creating content is to make money, we will not be serving our people in the right way. It'll come off as slimy, and it'll be very easy to sniff out that you're not as authentic. You are not really in this to make a difference in your customers' lives, and that will show. And that's not what we want. So once we have step 1, we can move on to step 2, which is so important. And that is making sure that we align our messaging with our audience. And man, in the visibility hacking world, we work with so many clients who don't have that alignment working. They are not speaking to the right person. They are not sharing the right message, or they're sharing a really great message, but they're trying to serve that message to the wrong audience entirely. So we want to make sure that everything we put out in all of our marketing efforts are aligned specifically with the customers that we're trying to speak to, in order to help move them from that place of indecision to that place of decision. Now, step number 3 is what I love to do, and that is to create that branded experience. Your brand is so much more than just some colors and fonts. Your brand is a persona. It's a personality. It has a voice. It has a character behind it. I always ask you guys, if your brand was a person, would you hang out with them? Would you go to their parties? Would you feel excited to be around them? That's the kind of questioning you need to ask yourself about your brand. Because when we have that brand, we align our messaging appropriately, we work on those foundations, then we can move on to step number 4, which is so exciting, because now we actually have a show. We have a message that is aligned with an audience that has a branded experience. Now we just need to actually get excited and put our show out into the world. Step 4 can be quite a big undertaking unto itself, and it's a place where a lot of people get overwhelmed with their shows, and they might do it properly or they might not. They might forget steps, but launching your show and launching your episode is absolutely vital to your show being available for your people to hang out and watch, right? Which brings us to step number 5, is to create that engaging show, to create great content, to have a framework, to have interviews, to have great variety in the content and the value that you're serving your people. Now, we're going to spend a lot of time on this show analyzing what people have been doing in step number 5 and how they are creating great content and how those different types of content serve their audience in specific ways. And of course, we get to step number 6, which is what everyone wants ultimately, and that is those deeper connections with our audience, which allow us to not only grow our audience by attracting more of those ideal customers, but also grow our businesses at the same time. When we grow and when we deepen our connections to our people, when we focus on serving value to our people, then we know that the money's going to come. We know that our people are going to be interested in the solutions that we have to share with them. So let's talk about a few different examples of content creators that are putting out some really interesting content that I want you guys to keep your eyes on. The first person I want to talk about is Emily D. Baker. We have mentioned her before on visibility hacking shows because she is a fantastic creator. She is a lawyer by trade, and she has become now a full-time content creator, mostly on the YouTube platform. Now, the reason I bring her up now is because she has had a monumental rise to stardom. She has had a huge bump in growth because she focused on her live show. Now, she has a podcast, she has a membership area, she has a Patreon, she's great on her Instagram in her short content, as well as her podcasts and her live shows, which can be multiple hours long, where she has tens of thousands of viewers coming on stream now. Now, what's really exciting about this and why I mention it specifically is that once this Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial started, Emily was like, heck yeah, this is right up my stream. Let's make it a big event. So Emily had been previously covering celebrity trials and pop culture, the intersection between pop culture and law. And the value she serves to her audience is immense. Now, what's really neat is that once this longer trial started, so the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial was like 5 or 6 weeks long, Monday to Thursday, full days, plus she would stay on for commentary. She would stream every single day of the trial, offering her commentary. So every time there was a break in the trial and everyone got to go have snacks and go to the bathroom, well, she was adding commentary to her channel. She was able to be interviewed by international media sources, really boosting her brand. But what was so neat was seeing how quickly she was able to attract her ideal subscribers, not only to be followers of her YouTube channel, but through all of the other funnels that she has associated with her brand. And that's the power of live shows. Not only are we serving value, but most importantly, we are building connections. And that's what I want for your businesses as well. Now, another example number 2 I'm going to share with you is from our own Jim Beard, visibility hacking entrepreneur, visionary leader, and just all-around fantastic guy. Now, Jim Beard blew up on the scene a couple years ago with a crazy idea he had. He had this wild and crazy idea to repurpose a game show and bring it to not only the online space, but to the entrepreneurial space online. So what he did was he hosted this show called the X's and O's Game Show, where he brought on 9, 10, 11, 12, it was like 12 or 13 different people on screen at a time during this crazy show, all from a Zoom call, streams it into OBS, or brings it into OBS, streams it out into the world onto these different platforms. He has this fantastic strategy behind not only getting the guests on his show to be interesting and exciting so that they help serve value to the audience, but also he has this great way of nurturing those relationships and deepening the connections to his potential customers simply by having this really fun show. Now, this was a fun and exciting game show. This was not in any way a sales pitch. He wasn't talking about the things that he does and the offers that he offers to the world and the stuff that he sells. No, he was simply attracting together the same people who would be hanging out. Remember, if your brand and your show are people, would you want to hang out with them? He was creating the cool guy in school that everyone wanted to hang out with, who just so happens to also have things that he can sell you that also perfectly align with that audience that he's just brought in. And that is the power of live stream, guys. The connections, the funny moments, even when the show went completely haywire because all the lining up of graphics and overlays and all of this tech nightmare, let me tell you, when that happened, it still became a memorable moment on his show. People still talk about it to this day. That is something I want to happen for you guys. I want you to have the experience that Jim had by creating a show that not only was so much fun to run, but also was an asset that he can leverage over and over and over again, building relationships that you can leverage over and over and over again. That, my friends, is something that I wish you guys could have in your business as well. Now, the third example I'm going to share with you, we are going to dive much deeper into all of these examples in upcoming episodes of the showcase. But I have to mention on topical news, Steve Larsen, the capitalist pig himself, he has started a new live show, which is exciting. It's exciting. It's a place to see. I hope he does a lot more with his show. But we can see, if we actually go back to our framework, we can see here that, yeah, he clearly knows that he can serve value. His training's constantly full of value. We know that he's going to do step 1 really easily. Step 2, he has been working with his ideal customer avatar for years. He knows them through and through. He has a system in his business designed to grab the information that's required to go out and grab new customers that are just like that person who purchased his products. So we know that he's doing well in step 2. He has his message in alignment with his ideal customer. He just needs to bring it to a new stage. Now, step number 3 is creating a branded experience. And unfortunately, that is a step that he skipped on his new show. But maybe in a future episode of the showcase, we'll be able to build him some new graphics. We'll be able to show him what happens when you work through all 6 of the steps of the framework rather than skipping over some of them. So we will see. Now let's check step number 4. Has he hyped up his launch? Does he know how to launch an episode? Absolutely. He sure does. He is the king of episode launching. So we've done well. We've only skipped step 3 so far. So let's check step 5. Is he creating an engaging show with great content and a variety of different content within it? He's only released a couple episodes, so we're going to say that we are still yet to be determined on step number 6, and hopefully he will experience step number 5, I should say, he's still working on, and step number 6 is also yet to be determined because his show's so new. I feel like we can definitely increase what he's going to be seeing coming out of his new show in terms of growing audience, building those conversions, if he wasn't skipping over certain steps. He has a really powerful brand, and if we bring that brand forward where people can see it, we're going to build something that's super important. It's what we call visual authority. Not only is it the psychological triggers of grabbing people's attention, firing off certain signals in people's brains so that they pay attention and they stay paying attention, but also visual authority is what stops people scrolling. If you have a brand that people trust, when they see even a sliver of an advertisement or a post with your brand, they will know it from afar because your brand has that visual authority. That's what Steve's missing in his show. But if you come back and check out some upcoming episodes of the showcase, we will go through both. We'll talk about Emily D. Baker. We'll talk about her in depth in probably next week's show. We're going to talk about the X's and O's show and how it was created and how you can create it as well. We're going to talk about Steve Larsen's new show and how we can make it even more impactful without spending more time, energy, and headaches creating all of that visual authority, and so much more. We have so many great episodes planned for you. Join us every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, here in the Visibility Hacking World. You can check us out on my personal Facebook profile. You can check us out on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel. Oh, man. Definitely let us know if you're here watching live, if you're here on the replay. We'd love to get to know you guys. Until I see you again, because it's time to sign out, my friends. Remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other and just go live, because your people are out there waiting for you.